Down. Hello, YouTubers. There we go. All right. YouTube, got you covered. Maybe adjust my camera down a little. There we go. All right. And then TikTok. I think TikTok's ready to go, actually. All right. TikTok next. Go live. Actually, I think there might even be too strong here. Let's see. There we go. All right. TikTok. Boom. All right. A little more light, maybe. Yeah, that's good. All right. Welcome all. Hello, everybody. I think I just flipped the TikTok stuff. I did flip the TikTok stuff. Okay. Hello, TikTokers, Discord, and YouTube. How's everybody doing today? Hello, all. My Slava Ukraini mug. Busy day. Not too busy of a news day. I was working on my family tree stuff, which gets complicated, but I found a lot of cool new information, which is fun. Like I've almost got too much information about our family history now, which is good though, but kind of, like blah. It gets complicated. But then again, we wanted long. I don't know. Maybe I'll do long and I'll do short. I don't know. Anyway, welcome all. Let's do a shout out where everybody's from. We haven't done that in a while. So I've got YouTube, Discord, and then TikTok. I've got you over here on my iPad. Usually we used to start the show, everybody saying where you're hailing from, which I think is kind of fun. So do that if you would. Hyrule Kingdom? What is that, Vernon? I don't even know what that is. What else we got here? Kansas, Spokane, Salisbury. Oh, I'm yawning again. You know what? I didn't have my third. Yeah, cute, Anthony. I've got my, I didn't get my third cup of coffee today, so I'm yawning. I'm yawning at the moment. It's okay. Wisconsin, Sergio, you're in, or Sergio. Or Sergio. I'm trying to think. No, I'm trying in Portuguese. You wouldn't say J. Sergio? Sergio? Do you say the J? The G is a J? I'm trying to remember. You might, now that I'm thinking about it. I studied Portuguese a very long time ago, so I can't do it anymore. Anyway, so welcome, folks. All right. Good. Tennessee, Netherlands. I was just in the airport. Didn't have time to stop over, though. Otherwise, I would have visited Syndicate and a bunch of other folks. But on my way to Italy, got to visit the Netherlands airport, got some nice breakfast, which was lovely, and some wonderful stroopwafels, which now I'm kind of annoyed I didn't buy more of them. They were ridiculously good, the ones. Anthony, I stole the last 3. I've got them here. But they were ridiculously good, and I should have bought more. So I'm kind of bummed about that. Anyway, welcome, everybody. I am John Aravosis. So this is my show. What we do on the show is we talk about the latest news from the U.S. politics, and then we do the latest news from Ukraine. Sometimes there's overlap. Sometimes I yawn, like today. Did not get a good night's sleep again. I do not have a P.O. box because it's too much trouble. Thank you, Ash. I was wondering what that crown looked like. It is a goofy little crown, isn't it? It's a crystal crown. I do not have a P.O. box because it's just too much trouble. I had gotten it at one point. It's just ridiculous. I'd gotten it at one point, and I got like a small one. They're too expensive anyway, but I got a small one, and the idiot U.S. Postal Service was giving me all the crap, all the junk mail from the people that had the box before me. And I'm like, I don't want their stuff. Legally, we have to send everything that's addressed to the P.O. box. I'm like, but it's not addressed in my name. Doesn't matter. So literally once a week, my entire box would be filled up with stuff from like a black hair salon. Literally, it was hair salon crap. And I finally, and they go, you need to come by more often to empty your box. I'm like, why? I get one thing a month. Like, I'm not going to empty the box because you're filling it with stuff from some hair salon. So I finally canceled it. I was like, get a bigger box to accommodate the junk mail from the person before me that you insist on sending. So anyway, now you know why I don't have a P.O. box. But maybe I'll get one of those other services if they don't forward the junk mail. Thank you, Larissa. It's just they're very expensive, but then it was all the bullshit. I was like, well, that's just stupid. I kid you not. Get a bigger one. King Tut. Oh, back in Montreal from Alexandria, Egypt. Do you mean you were visiting Alexandria, Egypt, or you're from Alexandria, Egypt, but you're in Montreal? I am not drinking coffee at the moment. No, I haven't had coffee in hours. You got regular me now. which is funny because I'm tired and yawning, but I'm also hyper because that's who I am. So it's kind of a fun mix. What do you do? Anyway, a soft G. So what does a soft G mean? Does a soft G mean Sergio? Sergio. I'll bet you it's Sergio, isn't it? It's not Sergio like the Spanish G. It's a soft, but it's a Sergio, almost like the Italian G, I would guess in that case. My guess, like I said, it's been 40 years plus that I've taken Portuguese. Egyptian Greek born in Montreal. Oh, that's fascinating. Oh, wow. That's a fun combination. That's a really fun combination. Oh, how fun. I mean, Greek is good anyway because I'm Greek, but the Egyptian thing, that's a fun mix. Hey, adventures. Thank you. Your house probably gets even louder than ours at the holidays. I'm going to guess a little Middle Eastern thrown in just to make it more fun. Anyway, guys, welcome. Let's get rolling here. So I am John Aravosis. This is my update. We do about the latest news from America and also specifically with the war in Ukraine. We start with America and then we move on from there. Just a reminder, folks, do follow me on TikTok, especially because TikTok, we never quite know what's coming next with TikTok. As you guys know, that problem is still out there. So do follow me on TikTok. Also, your gifts are very welcome. Gifts on TikTok, YouTube, and Discord, because I do this for a living, and your gifts pay the bills. So please do keep that coming too. So Trump's tariffs. Did I say YouTube? I don't know what I said. YouTube, Discord, and TikTok, whatever I said. So Trump's tariffs. I'm actually losing track of Trump's tariffs at this point, I have to say. He keeps going back and forth. And I just don't even know anymore. Remember, like yesterday, he caved on a bunch of tariffs and now is implementing a bunch of new tariffs. So he just put something like, 26 billion in tariffs on the Canadians, on the European Union, on steel and aluminum imports, as we call it in America, aluminum, unlike you Brits. Do the Canadians say aluminium as well? Which I have to say, we Americans find very cute. That could be one of the ways you could stop us from taking you over. Start using different words to confuse us, like aluminium. Also, I got to say, the Trumpers kind of make me laugh because they claim like they want to take over Canada. They have no idea they're trying to take possession of millions of French people, which they would die if they knew that. I mean, this is like your secret weapon, Canada. I got to tell you. You need to throw two things at them and go, oh, hey, yeah. So millions of Canadians to join the Democratic Party. Okay, thanks. Right. Convince them that you're all Democrats first, and then let them know how many French people you've got. Because I love the French. The Republicans do not. So I think it would be very funny. Aluminium. Any case, so Trump put massive tariffs on aluminum and steel. The Canadians and the European Union retaliated with additional tariffs themselves. So that trade war is going nicely. There was inflation news today. The inflation news today was not that bad, but there were two issues. One of which was the news was the inflation figures are from before the tariffs kicked in. So they don't let us know what the tariffs have been doing. Second thing is, and this always gets complicated. You economists out there know this better than I do, maybe some business people. But when you look at inflation, there's different ways of gauging it, core inflation, this and that and that. And they were saying when you strip out some of the items, some inflation like food and other things is going up significantly. Eggs, for example, by the way, eggs went up another 10% last month. They went up 15% the month before, 10% last month. So food especially is starting to have some real issues now. Southwest Airlines, by the way, anybody who's a Southwest fan, Southwest is now going to charge for baggage, which means if they're charging what the other guys do, $35 each way, that's adding $70 to each ticket. That is a huge amount. I mean, for the kind of tickets I buy on Southwest, that's like 25% price increase, which is ridiculous. The average egg price in America now is approximately $5 12 eggs, approximately $5.60. I read today. I think it's $5.60 exactly. It used to be like low fours, and now it's up to $5 and something else. Now, we're about average here in DC. I told you my eggs went from $4 to $5.40 here. But those of you around the country, It's been a lot worse. Egg prices are not dropping. Nope. They may have dropped where you are, but nationally, they just went up 10%. They went up 15% a month before. So yeah, not great. Thank you. Who is that? Killers for the hat and mustache, and Wandering. Thank you for the flying potato thingy over on YouTube. Appreciate that. Yeah, they're bad. I mean, they're as you guys can see from what you guys are saying about your prices, they're very bad across the U.S., particularly Canada. The Canadians have got like $8 to $12, I guess. Although Austin, you're saying $8. That's crazy too. $10 in Oakland. Yeah. Like I'm paying $5.40 now here, which is crazy. $2.88 in Canada. Damn you, Canada. Yeah. See, don't tell people they'll want to like invade or something if they know you've got $3 eggs in Canada. Anyway, Ashley, go get them. Good girl. There you go. Thank you, Ashley. So what else we got here? Elon Musk. So Elon Musk, Trump held a big, I don't even know. Trump held an ad at the White House yesterday for Tesla cars. Had 5 Teslas there, told everybody how great it has a little script, the prices. It was literally an advertisement for Tesla. Corrupt as hell. Absolutely corrupt as hell. Well, I don't forget the other mods, but I looked and it said, because I said, Ash, go get him. I could say Manda, go get him. Except guess what? Ash was the one who got him. So see, I was right in that case. But yes, Ash is just, when I say Ashley, just assume it means Amanda. It's sort of like when Americans say guys and they mean girls too. Just assume that Ash is my generic moderator word. Ash, it means everybody. Elon Musk, yeah. So they held this thing at the White House yesterday. Bunch of cars, 5 different Teslas. Trump was trying to sell them. He then claimed he bought one of them, which is total bullshit, I'm sure. Elon then turns around at the same time, and we find out that Elon Musk has said he's going to invest another $100 million into the outside political organization supporting Donald Trump. Now, Elon, you may recall, pretty much bought the presidency for Trump. He spent $300 million. And unfortunately, on the election, unfortunately, that's legal in America. It's crazy, but our Supreme Court found that political donations are speech, that money is speech. It's very bad. And Elon, again, spending $300 million to get a president election is very scary. And now he's spending $100 million to, again, support the president. And at the same time, what does Trump do? Trump turns around and does an ad for Elon's cars. It's just this incredibly incestuous. Well, actually, by the way, before they block you, and by the way, guys, do block that Creed person. Somebody said, now do Soros. Let's talk. This is a great, I love when trolls do this, when they give us an opportunity to show how bad the Republicans are versus the Democrats on a particular issue. Republicans like to go after George Soros, who is a Jewish financier. They like to go after him because he's Jewish. They go after him because he has a lot of money, because he's very influential in Democratic and politics on the left. But particularly, they like going after him because he's Jewish. And it's part of this very unfortunate anti-Semitism you find in some conservative circles, where they attack people for being Jewish. It's very bad. But in any case, the attacks on Soros are very interesting because Republicans love to, MAGA Republicans especially, they love to bring up false equivalencies. Whenever you call them out on Trump being a criminal, right, a convicted 34 times felon, when you call them out on Trump committing crimes in the White House, being a traitor and giving our classified information to Russia, the things he's done in the Oval Office, things like this, they always go, but Joe Biden, but then they never really can give you anything. And in this case, whenever we talk about the Republican oligarchs who are stealing our democracy, like Elon Musk, they turn around like that troll did and go, now do Soros. Well, okay, what exactly would you like me to say about him? George Soros never stole an election. George Soros never dropped $300 million dollars on an American election, right? George Soros never went through and worked out of the Oval Office. George Soros was never our vice president, or actually our president in some ways. Thank you, Blue Sky, which arguably Elon Musk is, right? George Soros has never worked this close with, literally, the man has never done anything Elon Musk has done. George Soros never went and eliminated entire agencies like Musk did with AID. George Soros never went and fired half of an agency like Elon Musk just did with Department of Education. George Soros never went and endangered aviation in America by firing air traffic controllers, which Elon Musk ordered to happen. I mean, so like, this is the thing. Let's talk about George Soros. I think, unfortunately, what people mean when they say George Soros is, they mean it's an attack on the fact that he's Jewish. And it's part of a whole anti-Semitic history of the anti-Jewish stereotype of attacking Jewish people for having money and influence and this kind of crap. It's an incredibly offensive stereotype. And it's something that, unfortunately, the Trump supporters do. So I'm really glad you brought up George Soros, because it allowed us to talk about anti-Semitism, prejudice, bigotry, and also to explain to people just how bad what Elon Musk is doing. Because, final point here, George Soros never ran around Europe telling people to vote for neo-Nazis, which, of course, Elon Musk did, or at least certainly a neo-Nazi type party, which is what Elon Musk did with the German party, the AfD in Germany. So yeah, lots of differences too. Lots of differences. All right. A little more here, but I love you trolls, whenever you allow us to sort of point out a distinction that's very embarrassing for you. Oh, the final point, which is very funny though, is I was reading an article today. Trump is going to destroy Tesla. Trump does not like electric vehicles. Trump hates electric vehicles. Trump wants us to use oil and gas, right? And he's planning on deregulating the fuel emissions and all this kind of stuff, all the things that are holding back carbon. What's the word I'm looking for? What's the word? Gasoline-based cars. I'm not sure what word. Fuel-based. What do you call them? Fuel-based cars or whatever it is. He's planning on getting rid of all the regulations, or a lot of them, holding them back, which will mean that those cars, fossil fuel-based cars, will do so much better now, so that it's going to be even harder for companies like Tesla and others to compete. But it does kind of crack. And we talked about this before with Tesla. I mean, it's kind of amazing. We talked about this the other night, but when you think about Tesla and the fact that Tesla's, market tends to be people on the left, right? A lot of Tesla's market tends to be people who care about the environment. That tends to be people on the left. It's not Trump supporters. It's not the AfD in Germany. It's not the whatever the hell they're called, the crazy far right party in the UK, what starts with an R, what is it? Nigel Farage's party, whatever the hell it's called. It's not those guys. It's people on the left. It's the very people that Elon Musk has now alienated, are the very people. Reform. Thank you, Jens. Reform Party. I was going to say Refuge Party, Reform Party. It's the very people that Elon has alienated who would typically buy Teslas. And the idea that Trump is going to his audience now and saying, oh, look at these great cars, even though for years I've been telling you not to buy electric vehicles, that they suck, and you should only buy gas-guzzling cars. Trump is now showing his far-right supporters electric cars that they're never going to buy. or maybe we should all be glad that Trump just stabbed in the back his base, right? I mean, Trump's base is all about fossil fuels and polluting the environment. That Donald Trump just did a big advertisement for electric vehicles. I mean, in some ways, as corrupt as it is, that's a really good thing. You know what I mean? I mean, think about it, actually. I mean, there's a silver lining to it all. It's very interesting. Anyway, all right, let's switch over to Ukraine. First half of the show, we do U.S. news, Trump, etc. Then second half, we do Ukraine. We'll switch over now. It's kind of it's a little bit of a lighter news day across the board, I will say. Ukraine. So problems in Ukraine. It's day 1,111 of Putin's special 3-day military operation. It looks like the Ukrainians are losing control of the province of Kursk, the Russian province. This is the Russian land that the Ukrainians invaded and took a while ago, and the Russians have been slowly getting it back. The news today looks like the Russians are in fact getting it back, which is bad. They haven't gotten all of it back, but they've gotten a lot of it back. Putin went and did a little military fatigue press conference event thing in Kursk to sort of brag that they're getting it back. It's smart of the Russians to do, because if Trump is trying to push for a ceasefire, I know I got to move the map over here. The map is over. Well, I can hold on a second. I'll look and see where my map is. It shouldn't be too far away. Where's the map? Where are you hiding, map? Here he is. Okay, there he is. All right. I got the map back. All right. Oh, the map is back. So yes, so Kursk, here's our Ukraine mask. Kursk is blah. I'm trying to remember. I think Kursk is up here by Sumy. Oh my God. It's been so long that I haven't had to point this out. Help me out, guys, but I think Kursk is up here by Sumy, right? So this area up here is where the Ukrainians invaded and took some of the land. And it's, it's a good thing that they hold it because it gives them a chance to potentially negotiate and get some of their land back from the Russians. But, we shall see. But anyway, it looks like they're losing some of that, which is bad. Trump confirmed today that a U.S. delegation is traveling to Russia to brief the Russians on the ceasefire plan that he allegedly came up with, with Zelensky. Again, it's kind of funny because Trump is claiming, and again, you know what? If it makes Trump call off the dogs and suddenly pretend like he likes the Ukrainians, I'm all for it. But he's lying. It's just important to let people know. Trump is bragging that, he got the Ukrainians to agree to a ceasefire this week. The Ukrainians announced a ceasefire last week. He didn't get the Ukrainians to agree to anything. Last week, the Ukrainians announced a ceasefire that they were willing to do with the Russians. And now Trump is saying, just yesterday, I convinced the Ukrainians to finally accept the idea of a ceasefire. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. I mean, but it's just stupid because they already got it. They already got the ceasefire. Trump lied about it, but this is what he does. You just have to get used to it. So the Russians are saying they're not going to make a decision yet on the ceasefire proposal until Trump's people get to Moscow and brief them. So we'll see. What else we got here? Oh, that's actually very funny. Foreign troll. That's one of the. I don't like to interrupt the show for the trolls, but that was very funny. Dawn noticed it. One of our foreign trolls, probably French based in this case, wrote, why don't you go and negotiate a ceasefire? And he wrote ceasefire, SIX space fire. In French, the number 6 is six, spelled SIX. I wonder if that's what was going on. If I'm going to guess African troll, maybe, as far as people who are hired, right? That's fine. A ceasefire. That's very funny. a 6 fires. I like that. Was kind of cute. That was very cute. We have to add that to like the pantheon of wonderful errors. Our trolls make the darndest, cutest mistakes. Ceasefire. What? Cessez le feu, as I recall. But ceasefire. That's cute. I like that. Oh, Ivory Coast. Speaking of the French, parlons des Français. Well, pas français, mais francophone. Légumes fruités. That's cute. All right, guys. Yeah, you're laying. Very punny. Ceasefire. That's cute. All right, a little bit more here. Trump is threatening the Russians. That's good. Again, I have a hard time believing that Donald Trump is ever going to actually threaten the Russians, but for now, he kind of is. I'm sorry, yawning at you guys. I should have had a coffee about an hour ago. It might have helped. Trump said, there's financial things we can do to the Russians that would be very bad if they don't agree to the ceasefire. Okay. I mean, maybe. I don't believe it. Yes, salut Julien. Oui, on peut parler français, mais je crois que ça va limiter what's the word? My audience is it's not raconteur. I'm the raconteur. What's the audience in French? Les gens qui me regardent. Let's call it. We'll do it the simple way that way. What is the word audience in French? Just curious. Anybody out there has got it? Thank you. I mean, I speak French, so. But yes, the word audience, public. Ma public, would you say? Mon audience. Is that Canadian French though, or no? Audience or audience? Public. I guess public, but I often think of public as being, yeah, that's true. Public. Yeah. Audience. That's interesting. Okay. French. Interesting. Okay. Audience. Public. Ma public. That's funny. Public, I guess I do think of that. My audience. I think of public as being something bigger than audience, but that's funny. Public in Swedish. Oh, that's funny to see how it, mes spectateurs. Now we're going to have a French lesson here for everybody. Yeah, mes spectateurs. That's not a bad idea too. All right. Tesla. Oh my God. Okay. I go off topic. It's what I do. That's what the show's about. Kimberly just reminded me. So Donald Trump, when he's doing the dog and pony show to help Elon sell cars yesterday, he said something like, these Teslers are really good. He literally goes, Tesla. But I mean, it wasn't even like an accent. It wasn't like he said Tesla kind of funny. He goes, Tesla. Everybody looked at him like, Tesla? He doesn't even know the brand of the car. I mean, Tim Apple, exactly. Years ago, Trump was having a roundtable with tech executives, and he's sitting next to Tim Cook? Is that his name? I think from Apple, the guy who's the CEO of Apple. And he goes, well, I was talking here with Tim Apple. everybody looks at him and goes, Tim Apple? I mean, but Tesla, you have to Google it. It is Tim Cook. Tesla. Well, remember when we need to get like the best of Trump. Trump, again, when he was president last time, he's notoriously bad at reading a teleprompter, but he also isn't the brightest guy. And he's reading something about, it must have been about Yosemite Park or whatever, out east or out west, and it's called Yosemite, and it's Yosemite. So Yosemite. Okay, Yosemite. And he looks at the prompter and goes, Yosemite. And I don't know if you're not an Anglophone, you might not appreciate how funny that is, because Semite is a word, but Yosemite sounds like you're going, hey, yo, Semite, like, hey, you Semite over there, yo, because yo is something we say, at least in America we do, in the Midwest, yo. So, yo, Semite. That was the best thing, though. Yosemite. I mean, what kind of a moron says Yosemite? Oh, God. I mean, funny, but and looking at and what kind of a moron looks at the word Yosemite and thinks it means Yosemite? Oh, God. Isaac Neutron. He did not say Isaac Neutron, did he? Oh, it was fabulous. It was absolutely fabulous. Oh, my God. Yeah, 3-syllable words are hard for him. Exactly, Martin. Oh my God, Yosemite Sam. Well, exactly, Yosemite Sam. Oh my God. All right, a little bit more news here. This is interesting. So, sorry, I'm gonna be yawning at you guys. Actually, I could possibly pack one of my pocket coffees. Should I look for let me look for my pocket coffee. 1 second. That's a possibility. If it's not sitting here, then I'm out of luck. Where's my pocket coffee? Oh, damn. I stole those from Italy too, Anthony. Oh, man. Huh. I don't know where I put it. I'm annoyed here. Oh, I'm totally annoyed here. Oh, well. Thought I put it in here. Now I don't know. All right. Well, you know what? Last possibility is down here. I do have some other ones. Sorry. Now I'm on a tear because I want to find my pocket coffee. You know what? Here. I found some that I had in the freezer. I want a pocket coffee. I found some that I had in the freezer. So these are amazing. Actually, Anthony, my nephew, is on tonight. This is the box the lady was talking. Oh, you weren't with us at the store. We were at the store, and the lady was like, oh, they have boxes of them. See, I'm going to do my own commercial, although not for anybody who's paying me. These things are Italian, and they're amazing. They're these little coffees, and it's basically a shot of espresso, a shot of liquid espresso inside chocolate. 1 second here. Inside chocolate, but it's literally a shot of liquid inside the chocolate. Like you bite it and it goes coffee all over your mouth. Do they go in an espresso? No, they do not. They're the most. I was with Anthony's wife at one of the stores and I was like, you have pocket coffees. And she's like, oh, we have boxes of them. But yeah, see, so it's like a chocolate and I'm going to have to put it in my mouth. There's coffee on the inside. The coffee is hard because it was in my freezer. Otherwise it's liquid. Mmm. Mmm. Mm-hmm. These are so good. Mmm. I'd say the chocolate is not dark, but not milk. It's between, I'd say. There we go. I feel better now. I mean, I'm sure they're made by Ferrero, the famous brand Italian brand Ferrero. They're very good. I think I found some on Amazon, believe it or not. There we go. I'd say the chocolate is not dark, but not milk. They're a little sweet. I mean, they are a little sweet. But but sometimes when you need just a little bit of coffee, like just right there, that was the perfect excuse for a pocket coffee. When I'm going to look here at the label, I'm sure it was Ferrero because I remember looking at it before. Yeah, Ferrero. See, Ferrero or Ferrero. Boop, pocket coffee. All right, I'll stop doing my my ad for pocket coffees. Exactly. Swallow first, then speak. Amazon Canada. So they're on Amazon Canada. I think they're on Amazon US too. I think they're on Best App to Learn French. I don't know. I like Duolingo, but honestly, probably Duolingo. Not a bad place to start. You know, probably not a bad place. Anyway, oh man. Anyway, so let's go on with the news. Now that I had my coffee break, we may continue with the news. Oh man. They're a little sweet. They're a little too sweet for my taste, but they're still good for exactly just this. When you're like, okay, I need a little bit of a pick me up, and you go and get your pick me up. That they're good for. All right. What else? So I was going to say about Zelensky and Ukraine. So this was interesting. So Lindsey Graham, we've got Donald Trump comes up with this ceasefire idea that Ukraine already agreed to a week ago, but whatever. Trump wants them to have a ceasefire. And the issue now is, will the Russians agree? And Trump is trying to make it look like, oh, Liberty just ordered some on Amazon or where? Trump is trying to make it look like he's being tough with the Russians, and he's going to be just as tough with the Russians as he is the Ukrainians to push them to accept the ceasefire. Lindsey Graham is a United States Senator, Republican, big friend of Trump, hawkish on defense, meaning conservative on defense, but such a pushover that nothing he says matters. Lindsey Graham is a total Trump pushover. So he's tough on Russia and tough on American defense, except when Donald Trump says don't do it, he goes, okay. So Graham is talking about punishing Russia if they don't agree to the peace deal. Again, it all depends what Donald Trump says. But what he said was good. Graham said today, Zelensky has passed the test of wanting peace. It is now up to Putin to show his cards. He went on to say he will be introducing bone-breaking sanctions and tariffs against Russia before the end of the week in order to move towards peace. If they do not pursue the ceasefire with the same vigor as Ukraine, there will be hell to pay. Well, a couple different problems. First of all, tariffs don't matter with Russia because we don't import anything from Russia. I mean, literally, we never did, but now we import even less because of all the sanctions and everything else. So the idea of putting tariffs is stupid on Russia. We don't buy anything from Russia. But the sanctions, maybe more banking sanctions. I mean, it's hard to sort of find much more that they can do, but maybe, so, and again, I don't think Trump is gonna come down on Russia anyway. I just don't think he is. I hope he does. I don't think he is, Oh, John, I do have all the answers and my political experience. You got an hour? Unless you're not trolling, that depends. If you're trolling very poorly. Never accuse a guy who's got 40 years experience in Washington politics of not having political experience. You always, the lawyer in me reminds you, never ask a question you don't know the answer to, because you'll be made to look silly. In any case, what else we got? This was funny. Speaking of silly, a former Putin aide, this was funny, Sergei Markov. Keep the gifts coming, by the way, guys. I do this for a living. Appreciate your help. So please keep the gifts coming. Subscriptions are welcome as well. And also on TikTok, make sure you follow me on TikTok. I always forget to push that. The little follow button, very important. What is my dog doing out there? Hello, dog. What are you doing? Come on in. Come on. Come on. One of the former top Putin aides, Sergei Markov, did an interview today with Sky News, and it just cracked me up because it's just, the Russians are so silly. I don't know why Biden, the French and not the British, but the French and the Germans let Putin get inside their head, because the Russians are just so silly when they make threats. They're just so dumb. Listen to this. Former Putin aide to Sky News. All troops from European countries would be regarded as occupation troops. He's talking about the Brits and others and the French putting peacekeeping troops in Ukraine after the war in order to ensure the Russians don't invade again. All troops from European countries would be regarded as occupation troops, and all of them would be killed by Russian soldiers who would come to liberate Ukraine. So he's saying if there's European troops in Ukraine afterwards for a peace deal, the Russians will reinvade and kill all the Europeans. Sure you will. See, this is where it gets funny, because if America were to get involved, Russia would be crushed in a day. Their military is nothing compared to ours. Even the Europeans would crush Russia, from the military people I talk to. It would take them longer, but the Russians can't beat the Europeans. Also, dog's going to want water here. Also, you've got to keep in mind that if the Russians were to invade and kill Europeans, even though Trump says we wouldn't get involved, we'd get involved. There's no way we wouldn't get involved. But it really kind of blows my mind when, it blows my mind the way the Russians just always act 10 feet tall. Oh, we will kill them all, the Russians say. And it's like, really? Like, as the old saying, you and what army? I mean, really? You're going to declare war on Europe? Really? I mean, and again, this stuff worked on Biden. It worked on the French and the Germans, at least once upon a time. It probably works on Trump. Actually, you know who it does probably work on is Trump, which is the bad thing. It may very well work on with Trump. Trump hears it and goes, oh gosh, Putin says he's going to go crazy if the Europeans have peacekeepers. Oh my God. But in any case, what else we got? Actually, the Ukrainians have been reminding everybody, which is good, because Marco Rubio, Trump's Secretary of State, brought it up today, that as part of any peace deal, the Russians have to return all the children they kidnapped from Ukraine. This is an important story, and it's one we haven't talked about in a while. It is an interesting, larger, I don't know if it's not really a leitmotif. What's the word I'm looking for? It's a larger sort of allegory of Russia and who they are. But since the war has started, the Russians have kidnapped upwards of 19,000 Ukrainian children. They literally took the kids and decided they were going to turn them into Russians. They kidnapped Ukrainian children as war trophies and decided they were going to turn them into Russians. In one famous case, I think it's the Speaker of the Russian Parliament, the Duma, bragged a couple of years ago that he had gotten a Ukrainian baby, and the baby was only 10 months old. They stole the baby from Ukraine, 10 months old, and he had changed the baby's birth certificate to claim the baby was born in Russia, so the baby will never even know that it actually is Ukrainian and was stolen from a Ukrainian family. I mean, this is sick. The Ukrainians say there's upwards of 19,000 children the Russians have kidnapped. Putin has been, by the way, Putin has been indicted for war crimes because of kidnapping these children. This is the issue that Putin was, that there's an arrest warrant for Putin from the International Criminal Court because of this issue where he coordinated the kidnapping of Ukrainian children. But again, it's such an important issue to bring up, because what kind of animal goes to war and says, I'm going to just kidnap children I find and take them home because maybe somebody wants them. And the Russians kind of do this cute little trick where they go, oh, but some of the children were orphans and we're rescuing them. And again, I say it tells you something about the Russians and the way they think. Because think about this. You're at war. You're going through a village. You find a baby. And the parents are obviously killed. Let's pretend that the parents are killed. The parents have been killed in front of you. And there's a living baby. You have a few options as a soldier. A, you say, I'm going to take the baby and make it my own and take it back to my country because what a neat trophy I found. That's the first option. The second option is you take the child so it doesn't die. You bring it back to the military headquarters. They, give it to some foster family while they then contact the country they're fighting in the same way they contract the country they're fighting about prisoner exchanges, right? The Ukrainians and the Russians are exchanging prisoners all the time. And as part of the prisoner exchange, you simply say, we also have a baby we found whose parents were dead and we didn't want it to die. And that's a very nice thing to do. But what kind of animal doesn't think, hey, let's take the baby to keep it alive and then we'll give it to the Red Cross, right? No. Your first and only instinct is, baby, oh my God, I can take it. No, I mean, what animal thinks this way? Right? No animal thinks that way. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But in any case, so that issue keeps coming up, which is good. And that's pretty much it for the news today. So I'm going to adjust my camera here so I can sit back a little bit. As you guys know, when the show is not over, but when I'm done with the news part, I like to sit back. It's more comfortable. Do I think there'll be a peace deal? Interesting question, because it depends on the Russians. The Ukrainians don't really have a choice, in large part because Trump is forcing them, right? So Ukrainians don't have much of a choice. The Russians could just say no, and then what happens, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, Putin could just say no, and then the question becomes, what does Trump do? Does Trump keep putting greater sanctions on Russia, or does Trump cave and say, well, okay, I tried, So I don't know. The other problem is the almost the bigger risk of not having peace. Thank you, Welder. Is this war is going to start again in 3 to 5 to 7 years. The Russians are going to invade again. That's, first of all, that's who they are. It's what they did already. They invaded in 2014. They stole some land. They then built up their military, and they kept fighting, but they built up their military and invaded again in 2022, stole even more land. The Russians want Ukraine. Russia's apologists like to talk about, oh no, this is all about NATO expansion, and the Russians were worried that NATO is getting too big. No, they're not. The last time NATO expanded east towards Russia was 2004. Russia waited 18 years to invade in 2022. They didn't invade in 2022 because NATO expanded in 2004. That's not why they invaded. The Russians have said repeatedly that they invaded Ukraine, because they think Ukraine is Russia. I remember at the beginning of the war, hearing a Russian commentator say, and it was really sick, but talk about how the Russian claimed that the Ukrainians are actually Russians. They just don't realize they're Russians. They think they're Ukrainians. But according to this Russian commentator, Ukrainians don't really exist. And Russia's job in invading them is they're going to take over and they're going to re-educate the Ukrainians and re-educate them into understanding that they're not actually Ukrainians, they're really Russians. And then it'll become part of Russia and everybody will be happy. That's why no NATO assurances are enough. Russia did not invade to stop Ukraine from joining NATO. Ukraine applied to join NATO in 2008. And nothing happened because the French and the Germans didn't want Ukraine to join NATO. And I would argue America probably wasn't thrilled about it either. Nothing was happening with that. With the Ukrainians joining NATO. Again, 18 years later, the Russians, not 18. In this case, it would be 10 10 to 14 years later. 14 years later, after Ukraine applies to join NATO and NATO says, then the Russians invade. They're going to invade again. Oh, we've got our cameo here. There's the dog. Sorry for you guys. The dog is in the background, kind of hanging. Oh, both of you guys get a cameo there. There you go. For the TikTokers, there she is, kind of doing her thing. She's like stretching, and now she's going to try to get a toy and try to get me to play with her. I'm sure that's what's happening next. So anyway, that is what's up with that. Chris, when I say Ukrainians don't have a choice, if that's what you're asking, Trump is going to cut off all of their aid and all of their intelligence. I just don't. I'm not convinced Ukraine has much of a choice at that point. I think the Russians are gonna overrun them if the U.S. totally cuts back entirely. That's what I worry about. So I feel like Ukraine may not have a choice but to agree to some crazy ceasefire idea. And actually, at this point too, Ukraine. I mean, what's Ukraine getting anyway? I don't think none of us sort of see a way forward for Ukraine. Is the problem. You know what I mean? Because NATO's not going to give them the weapons they need. They tried. That NATO didn't give them enough weapons. It was NATO's fault. But now I just don't see what else can be done. So I don't feel like the Ukrainians don't really have a choice at this point. It's terribly sad. It's terrible. And again, we screwed them over. I mean, Biden did, French and the Germans did, the Republicans did, Trump did. You know, it's very bad. Europe has been providing a lot, actually. Sorry, JD says, why isn't Europe providing? Europe has been providing more aid than the Americans. The problem is the U.S. just has more weapons than the Europeans have. I mean, overall, the Europeans have been provided a lot more money than we have, or value of what's been provided. But in the end, the Americans are the big fish. The Europeans are not. They've given everything they've got. But even us, we've given a lot of what we've got too. There isn't a lot left to give them. It's just, yeah. Anyway, we should have given Ukraine a ton at the beginning. We should have given them weapons at the beginning, and we didn't do it. And we didn't give them planes. We didn't give them tanks. We didn't even give them the Patriot missiles for like 9 months, 8, 9, 10 months. It was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Is that true, Dawn? The captain of the one Russian ship the ship that crashed into the North Sea is a Russian national? That'd be very interesting if he were. Be very interesting if he were. I did not see that. Again, could be a coincidence, but oh man, still yawning, even after having my pocket coffee. Well, I knew he was arrested. I didn't know he was Russian, though. Interesting. Part of the crew was Russian. No, again, it doesn't mean the Russians did it on purpose. It's possible, but it could have been just an accident. I mean, yesterday the Brits were saying there was no evidence of foul play. We'll see. Thank you, Leia, for the crown. Crystal Dreams. Anyway. So what else? What else? What else? Yeah, like I said, today's a slower news day. Rammed at 60 knots. You got to wonder. I mean, again, maybe the boat was malfunctioning. I don't know. But they're discussing black licorice on YouTube. I can't stand black licorice. Absolutely can't stand it. Your daughter's trying to learn Greek. Any recommendations? Oh, God. I don't know. I mean, Duolingo is my go-to. I really do. There's another app that I downloaded that's pretty good. I'm forgetting the name. Not Bumble, but that's the dating site. It's some name like that, like Bumblebee or something or other. And it was actually, I liked it because it showed you little videos of people speaking and you repeated it. Babbel? Oh, maybe it's Babbel. Manana is saying Babbel. It probably was Babbel. That was it. Yeah, it's Babbel. It was kind of nice. And, I wasn't going to pay for it, but it has like little videos of people speaking that you repeat after and stuff, which I thought was kind of a neat way of doing it. But I would say try Babbel and try Duolingo, I guess. Make sure it's modern Greek, as Paddington just said. But, I mean, I kind of had to go to Greek school, so it's hard for me to say. And then I got a book, really. I got a very good book and started learning, but I already had a basis in it at that point. So I could use the grammar book and really brush up. But I would say, I think the apps are interesting. I'd have to think like what they're like from scratch, because I've not used the apps. It's funny, you get to a certain point though. Like I did find Duolingo got like too easy for me with Italian, even though my Italian was rusty and could use work. It was too easy. Like there's a certain point where they're not helpful, but I think starting off at zero, they could be very helpful. I tried Ukrainian. I got confused because I studied Russian for a year. So Ukrainian confuses the hell out of me now. So I tried Ukrainian on Duolingo and it was like, ugh, it's too hard. Lingo Pie? I don't even know that. Oh, you sent your kid to France. You used Babbel and it worked. Oh, that's cute. Well, sure. Going to the country helps. You really want to learn Greek, go to the country, but, hey, Sasha in Ukraine. What else we got? My dog is Sasha too. I used to claim she was half French and half Russian because she's a Yorkie Bichon. Now I claim she's half French and half Ukrainian. The For Dummies books, that's funny. I didn't know they had one for. I will say there's a very good series. I don't want to like make them unavailable now, but I'd had a book when I was a kid for Greek, and I found the Italian one online and bought it, and they're really good. I mean, they're really good. It's the Teach Yourself series. They're old. This one could be from 1960 or something, but they're very good. And what I like about it is they kind of, start every chapter. They start every chapter with a theme and a dialogue. So it's like, what have you done today, Mr. Pizzetti? And it's two people talking, blah, 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 oh, how late you are. What have you been doing? Nothing happened, but it takes you through the dialogue. Then after the dialogue, it has vocabulary from the dialogue. So it's the vocabulary you're learning today. And then it has exercises. And I love this because each new chapter or whatever was a new dialogue and a new 20 words. And I could sort of try to learn the words. I'd mark the ones I'd mark the ones I couldn't. I would cover them and try to figure out what the words were. And if I couldn't, I'd put a check mark. Or no, I think I put a check mark once I knew what the word was. But it's a wonderful series of books. Teach Yourself. I love it. Having said that, the Duolingo and those guys work quite well too. Oh, did you use those, Julian? That's funny. I don't know where the hell I got my Greek one. I've got a great Greek one. It's smaller. It's really good. But the Italian one I bought because it's quite good too. So they're making, I don't think there's any other, no, I don't think I'd get, I've got Greek and Italian are sort of the two. My French is still good. Spanish is still good. So I don't really need it for that. Anyway, so yes, they're good books, but I still think the apps are probably the best thing. Do you think the French nuclear sub in Nova Scotia has anything to do with Trump threats? I don't know. I don't. That's a good question. It's also possible I think the Russians have been threatening the Canadians too, haven't they? So it could have been for that purpose too. I don't know. I think it could be potentially other NATO countries. If I were other NATO countries, I might not do it to get even with Trump or something, but I might say, you know what? We need more cooperation with other NATO countries right now. And we need more, our military ties need to be improved. Basically prepare for the worst with Trump, which means you should be doing everything you can to have better relations with the rest of NATO that isn't America. And isn't Hungary and Slovakia, the two sellouts. Sorry, guys. I said slept poorly again last night. Learning Chinese, that's hard. I tried. I actually pulled up Chinese on Duolingo. I just found it impossible. And it starting at zero. It was so confusing. And I couldn't maybe because I'm older, I don't know, but I couldn't have the memory for words. I was like, oh my God, very difficult. But I think Chinese would be fun to learn some words of though, but very hard. I'm sure it's very hard. Yeah. Musical, The Amelia, sorry guys. I have not seen that the Ukrainians withdrew from Kursk. What I did see was the Ukrainians were getting pushed out by the Russians. The Russians made some significant advances. So, the Russians may get it back entirely. We'll see. But I didn't see that the Ukrainians actually withdrew yet entirely. Mi español es bastante bien. Well, no, bueno, mi español es muy bien. No, bastante bien. Pero, I don't know. ¿Qué te puedo decir? No sé. It's always hard, I told you, because whenever people want me to speak languages, because I'm like, I'm not sure what to say on my own, but my Spanish is excellent. Yeah. Vlad, we heard from Vlad about a week and a half ago when I was in Italy with my nephew. He had a call with Vlad. So actually, Vlad popped in last night. We did hear from Vlad. Vlad popped in last night during the show and checked in. Dutch, no. Teach you Spanish? I don't know that I could teach you. But I studied Spanish a long time. So he fell asleep. Yeah, it was late for Vlad. But Spanish is a nice language. I think Italian's more fun. Albanian, no. My family spoke Albanian because we're Aravanites, but my grandmother spoke Albanian or spoke Aravanitica. If you're Albanian or whatever, then you know what I'm talking about. But she spoke Aravanitica, as did her parents and everybody else, even though they're Greeks. But you know that history, I'm assuming. Yeah, it was very cool, but I don't know. I mean, we're planning on going back because I was telling folks I'm sort of doing this big family history document about the family. We've got it back to the 1700s, and basically we go back to northern Greece, again, the ethnic group that's part Albanian, really. And I want to go visit southern Albania and see if we can find out the rest of our family history. So Albanians are nice people. I've only met two when I was at the United Nations. I met two. They were nice. They were a little quiet, but they were nice. They looked like us, which was interesting. I mean, meaning they looked kind of they looked almost Greek Italian. I would say like dark with white skin, like a little lighter. There are only two of them, but lighter skin than the Greeks, but dark hair. Almost a little bit like you might expect from somebody Spanish, maybe, or Northern Italian, Skoda. I don't know Skoda, but yeah, I am definitely going to Albania. My nephew and I are going to go back in a few years. Because like I said, I want to do the family. I want to check it out anyway, but I want to do the family history search with the Greeks up there and see if there's anything else we can find out about the family. Because we've got our family back to the 1770s, but it'd be fun to find out before that. And I already found some research of the name of the clan that we think we're descended from. So that would be cool too. It was a family name before my family name, not my family name, but my old family name. So anyway, it's very fun. I like this stuff. Greeks consider Albanians. Yes, the Greeks do look down on the Albanians. I did the DNA test. I'm Greek. I mean, well, I'm lately, the last several years, the DNA test is saying 8% Italian, which is interesting. My sister gets around the same. My mom got around the same. I reached out to one of my distant cousins. His is about the same. So you never know. We may have part Italian. And I just found out, actually, well, whatever. I don't want to get too much. It's really interesting. I found out some of the Italian stuff about our origins. Do Albanians speak Greek? There is a Greek-speaking minority in southern Albania. I know that, but that's it. I did all three tests, I think. I did Ancestry, 23, and what's the other one? Heritage, My Heritage, or whatever it's called. Your family name was Tudor? That sounds British, isn't it? Part of your people? What, Polish and Italian you made. Oh, I'd love to be Italian. I forgot to tell the Italians when they asked me. I said I was Greek. I should have said and a little bit Italian. 24 or 23 and me, 24 and me, 23 and me, not 24. The national language in Albania, I should know this. It's Albanian. Don't they call it Albanian? I think so. Do they not call it Albanian, the national language of Albania? I think they do. Help me out, guys. It's Albanian. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah. No, not Greek. No. There is a Greek-speaking minority in some villages. It's a form of Arabic. I mean, I know they're Muslim, but that's interesting. It's a form of Arabic. So is it related at all to Maltese? Because my God, I was looking at Maltese. Oh my God. I mean, my God, Maltese is like something from another planet. Which I think probably is the Arabic influence or something, because it's not like any European language that I'm familiar with. I'm familiar with a lot of them. Maybe that would make sense if it's similar to Maltese. Yeah, Old Ottoman. Interesting. Thank you for the gifts there, little soul. Ottomanese. What else? Yeah, no, I trust the somebody said, do you trust by the way, as the show goes on, we sort of get into other topics. So now we're doing the other topics part, but do you trust DNA tests? From what I've read, the larger percentage numbers are trustworthy. The smaller is a little, so like 8% Italian is questionable. The thing becomes a couple different things. First of all, it's not like you have Italian genes. What they do is if they look at mass numbers of people's DNA tests and knowing where those people are from and knowing where those people say they're from, right? Like somebody said, like my family goes back in Greece to at least the 1700s. We know, 100% Greek. Therefore, my DNA, they look at it and they go, well, his DNA is this. Other people in Greece's DNA is similar. Somebody in Australia who has that DNA, they're probably Greek, right? So that's what the DNA tests do. The problem is, as they get more and more people doing the tests get more accurate because they get more and more people to say, oh, okay, yes, this is a certain number of Italians that have this DNA from this region, blah, blah, blah. The problem is it keeps changing. And I've noticed for mine, I started at 96 or 98% Greek, and it's been going down ever since. And I think now I might be 85% Greek or something because I'm 8% Italian and then some other weird stuff. The only thing is the weird stuff could be part Turkish. It could be part Albanian. It could be part Yugoslavian. There's even a weird like Norwegian thing that popped in. It's got me like 1% Norwegian. And I'm like, Norwegian? What the hell is that? But it's 1%. So that's, it may not be something you can trust. It's cool, but it may not be something you can trust. They're fun to do. I mean, assuming you're never going to commit a crime and you're not worried about your DNA being somewhere, I think they're a lot of fun. And I think they're a neat, again, a little scary too, but they're a neat thing for people to have for your family to have like, I wish we had done my dad. I wish we had done my grandparents. Like that just would have been, it costs probably $100 or something. I'll bet you, Nate. I don't recall right now. At Christmas, you'd get it cheaper, but I want to say maybe $100 normally, maybe $60 at Christmas. They're not cheap. And again, there's a privacy issue. You got to, keep it in mind, but I think it's pretty cool stuff. I think it's pretty cool. Because again, as it goes on, your numbers change based on more people. And like I said, mine's gotten kind of interesting because it's Greek, which we know, but there's definitely a chunk there from somewhere else. And whether it's a mixture of, like I said, Albania, Turkey, Yugoslavia, or Bulgaria, it pointed to Bulgaria as well, and Norway. Like I said, the Norway thing cracked me up. The USAID thing, Travis raised an unrelated point. He said, why is USAID shredding documents? The Trump people, I guess, or somebody ordered them to shred documents. Now, confidential, whatever. I was Mark Zaid, who's a Democratic lawyer, very good guy. He weighed in on that yesterday and said, guys, calm down. There are lots of very valid reasons that they could have asked people to shred documents. At first blush, he did not think it was a scandal. And Mark is very good, just very good. He would be the first person that would jump on it. So I'll withhold judgment. Do I think USAID will survive? Not yet. Are they still helping people? I don't think they're doing anything right now. No. I am kind of blown away if we just let USAID, our development agency, disappear because Trump said, I don't like it. And the Republicans said, we're just going to force it to disappear. I mean, that's just sick. It's absolutely sick. But, What do you do? Or what do you do? We keep fighting. So Saruman's flag, that would be very funny, actually. Yeah, they are shredding documents, but they were ordered to. And as I said, one of the Democratic lawyers who's very big on this stuff said there's lots of legitimate reasons they may actually be shredding documents. He doesn't think it's necessarily trying to hide anything, meaning it's neither the Trump people nor the Democrats trying to hide anything. He's not convinced anybody's trying to hide anything. It will hurt U.S. farmers. Exactly. They were USAID used to buy like $2 billion with a B dollars a year in food from American farmers that they would then ship abroad to people that were starving. And they're no longer buying that food anymore. So American farmers just lost a ton of money. So I did not see that nowhere. The Supreme Court of Canada left Twitter. Good. Well, what I've been hearing, I mean, a lot of you have been telling me, and I read about it too, a lot of Canadians are pretty much divesting from America. They're selling their homes here. They're not doing vacations here. And I don't think you should. I think you should stop buying American products for now. I read something saying that it was a good idea. It was a message being passed along that said, when you go into a store and you go to buy something, check and see where it's made. If it's American made, put it back and turn it upside down and turn a couple more upside down. And eventually people will know if you see 2 or 3 products upside down, it means it's American. I think absolutely. I think they should just come after us again. If we want to treat the Canadians this way, then they should just give us everything they've got, just horrible. Absolutely horrible. Daily Mail. What about it, Harry? The stores moved the USA stuff to the bottom shelves. Good. They should. Good. I don't know that Ontario did back down. Ontario is negotiating with the Trump people. The U.S. Treasury Secretary is going there maybe tomorrow. Because the Ontario Premier had come out and said that they were going to increase the prices of electricity charged to Americans 25% because they provide electricity to 1.5 million Americans. And he then backed down and said, okay, we're going to negotiate with the Americans. That isn't necessarily him backing down. The Americans might have backed down. When he did the power stuff, I think he got a call from the Treasury Department and said, okay, what do you want? And he said, let's talk and work something out. And he said, okay. So he may have backed down. He may not have. I'm not convinced he did. Canada does control 80% of the maple syrup. We do get some from the U.S. I checked mine the other day from Costco. It's U.S., but still, without the Canadian stuff, American stuff could get more expensive because now you got more demand. So that can become an issue too, So anyway. Oh, I don't know, Bram. That's too hard of a discussion. Bram is asking, isn't the two-party system in the U.S. a huge error? I mean, I don't know. The thing is, I look at the European system, and like in Italy, it doesn't work, right? Especially back in what was the 90s or whenever it was that they had like a new government every year. So, I mean, I don't know whether a parliamentary system would work. Clearly, having said that, this right now is not working. Clearly. I mean, we found that one party that's basically the minority grabs control and then just does whatever they want because they know everyone's going to be too afraid to fight back. That's incredibly dangerous. It's very dangerous. The good syrup is from Maine. Vermont has good syrup too. Yep. Well, our legislators can't do much. I mean, the Senate can do something, but the House of Representatives, the minority party, cannot do much. In the Senate, you can do a little more. Department of Education, it is being cut. They're firing half the staff. They're firing it. Yeah. No, they're getting rid of half the staff at our Department of Education. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, Addie, for the gift. All this, whenever I do the show with you guys, my nose gets clogged. It's annoying. T-Mobile's working out fine. My concern about T-Mobile, I switched over to T-Mobile telephone. My concern with T-Mobile is they're pathological liars. And I know in 2 or 3 years, when I decide to trade in my phone for a new phone, they're going to lie to me. And that does not thrill me. I had 4 different lies that T-Mobile gave me about my new phone and internet service. 4 different things. They lied about the price of the plan. They lied about the trade-in value of my phone. They lied about, oh God, what was it? There was some other, they lied about I'm forgetting, there were 2 other things, 4 different things they lied about to me and totally lied. It was ridiculous. So like, unfortunately, I think they're liar. I think honestly, they ought to be investigated. I mean, this is clearly a pattern of lies from this company. I like my service. It's cheap enough. It's good service. I will say when I went abroad, T-Mobile has this minimal service you get when you go abroad to most countries, and it's kind of amazing. Texting is free. The data is, calls are expensive, but the data are 25 cents a minute for calls. The data, you get cheap data for free. So I was able to use Google Maps for free easily. I was even able to do audio. I don't know if I tried video. I was able to do audio calls on WhatsApp for free. Quite good. So I'm very impressed with T-Mobile service, but they're pathological liars. And I know, like I said, the next time I decide to renew my plan and trade in my phone, I'm recording my phone calls with them because I am going to literally go public because I got lied to about 4 different big, huge things that were worth a lot of money. They lied to me about at T-Mobile. Horrific. Oh no, I'm absolutely recording my calls in the future. I started doing it. I put my iPad on record and I put the call on public. And in Washington, D.C., that is totally legal to do. It's in any case, horrific, the lies from T-Mobile. I mean, I'm really like, trade-in value of your phone. Oh, it's not $650 or $830. It's $300. I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Price of your plan? It's $10 more. I forgot all the other bullshit they told me. There was a couple of different bullshit things. There were 2 other ones too. They just lied about everything. I was getting something else too. I forgot what it was. There was something else they were giving me. They go, oh no, we don't do that with your plan. Oh, they were going to pay off my Verizon bill. Oh yeah, we're going to pay off the $300 you owe Verizon. Oh, we don't do that with Verizon. What do you mean you don't do that with Verizon? I've talked to 4 of your customer service agents and said, I'm moving from Verizon. Will you pay? And they said, yes. Oh, we don't do that with your plan. I was like, no, guys, I mean, that's what I mean. The lies were the most basic, obvious lies about what plan T-Mobile offers. They lied about how much they'd pay for my phone. They lied about paying off Verizon. They lied about the price of the plan. I mean, I have extensive notes. It's like literally telling me $55 and it was $65. It was ridiculous. Horrific. I never had that problem with Verizon. Verizon just rips you off on the bill being expensive, but I never had them just outright lie to me like T-Mobile did. I was shocked, absolutely shocked. As I said, next time I'm recording them, I'm going to ask them repeatedly. And if they get it wrong, they also told me wrong information. The 5th thing they lied to me about, you can go to Italy and use your phone. But what about, I said, what about calls coming in? Will I get charged when I receive calls? Oh, if you don't answer the calls, you're fine with the calls coming in. Really? Yeah. You sure about that? I check into it. You're going to get call. If you get calls coming in and it goes to voicemail, you're going to get charged a minute charge, 25 cents a minute or whatever. The guy just got it wrong. I mean, it was non-freaking stop the bull. But again, oh yeah, you won't be charged for that. Sure, I won't. I mean, yeah. It was lie. It was either incompetence or lie after lie. But I mean, I talked to 4 different people, Tim, 3 or 4 different people. Man, it wasn't an idiot. Every single customer service agent at T-Mobile lied to me. Now, I will say, I went to the corporate communications people via Twitter and they fixed everything. Thank God. But I had given up. They just refused. I mean, oh my God, on the T-Mobile manager, the even crazier thing. You then ask to speak to a manager, and the line they've been given at T-Mobile when you call, 2 different people did this to me 2 different times. Well, a manager's not going to, I can tell you right now, a manager's not going to help you. That's the line. I mean, think about it. The line T-Mobile gives its customer service agents, if you ask for a manager, is tell them a manager's not going to help them. And then both times they got the manager, they were right. The manager refused to help. The manager told me when I said, okay, you've sold me a plan. with you got me to switch and everything, and you got 4 different things wrong about the plan, prices, 4 different price things that you gave me. Well, sir, you're within the 2-week period. You can just cancel and go back. I'm like, no, I want you to give me the plan you promised me because this is a scam. Couldn't care less. The manager couldn't care less. That's when I contacted the people via Twitter, the corporate communications, and they were lovely. Within 15 minutes, she fixed it. She got it. She's like, yeah, we told you that. We're going to make it right. Oh my God. Anyway, T-Mobile sadly is a horrible company. I mean, I hate to say it, horrible company. But again, I like it. So I'm going to keep it. It's cheaper, but I'm a little worried about what happens when I trade in my phone again next time. So we will see. But it was good for traveling around the world. I mean, getting that free internet was really nice. Because again, I was able to use my Apple map, my Google Maps everywhere in Italy. It was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Anyway, I got phone works now. I got a couple years. We'll see what happens, so percentage going up from groceries. I don't know what it is for groceries overall. It's a good question. I don't know how much it is for groceries overall. We'd have to look and see. Anyway, all right, guys, we're heading. And Peter May, remember, guys, just did an interview with ABC News. They flew him to New York to interview him, which I thought was kind of cute. So Peter's doing an interview on ABC soon, which is one of the big American TV networks. So I thought that was very cute. Yeah, my stuff was dealing with them by phone, getting multiple people by phone. But yeah, Americans rising up. Again, it depends. Define rising up. I do get my senior discount from T-Mobile. I do get that. That was part of the problem. You get the senior discount and they cut all sorts of benefits. That's the problem. They won't trade in your phone as much. I mean, all sorts of crap. So it's like, seriously? Like I said, we'll see. Excuse me. Verizon did a very good trade in value. If T-Mobile can't match it, maybe I'll go back to Verizon again. We'll see. Did they shut down the Manhattan Tesla dealer? I did not see that. So, goodbye, troll. T-Mobile is German. Are they really though? That's funny. I think people are just shell shocked about what's going on and they don't even know what to do. We are not a nation of protests generally. We don't hold national strikes. We don't do stuff like that. So I think there's a lot of confusion as to what we can do at this point. The power did not go out again last night, Bryce, but I bought my little lanterns. I'm very happy. I've got my 2 little lanterns now, $16 for 2 of them. The battery lasts 100 hours or something. So I've got one in here and one in the other room. I'm ready to go. Dog, you've got to wait. You've already had your water break in the middle of the show. So what's in store for Social Security? They're going to try to cut it. They're talking about cutting the hotline that seniors use to call Social Security. They're talking about cutting it and telling the seniors go online instead. Yeah. So supervisor for collections. Oh, that's interesting. Anyway, German company. That's funny. All right, guys, I'm going to go. It's 20 after. Good to see you all. Let's take a break. Only because I can tell when the numbers start dropping too. We have nothing else to say. So, but thank you for joining us. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you, Ashley and Amanda. And I don't know if the rest of you are here or not today. But all the mods, actually, Jens, I saw Jens is a quasi mod, aren't you? Are you on YouTube? On YouTube, you're a mod, I think. Jens, I always forget who's where. This is part of the problem too. Is we probably have 10, like Poppy. We have 10 mods totally. So that once I start thanking anybody, I get confused as to who's a mod. So it starts to just throw me at that point. Thank you, T-Sten. But anyway, guys, have a good night. I will be back tomorrow, 6:00 Eastern time, US, as always. All right. You bounce around, I know. Anyway. Oh, I'll still be here when the war is over because I'm still covering the US. I mean, it's not like Donald Trump's going away anytime soon. So I will be continuing to do Trump news absolutely positively. So, all right, guys, have a good night. All right, let's start. I hear you, dog. 1 second. All right, Discord, starting with you. My dog is getting a little whiny here. 1 second here. Discord. There we go. Boom. Boom. All right. YouTube. Good to see you guys. Boom. And finally, thank you, user 336. And finally, oops, YouTube. There we go. And finally, TikTok.